Good morning, YouTube. Today I want to talk about the worst experience I've had at a dealership.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, this is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience. And today, I'm going to talk about the worst experience I've had buying a car, and actually, it wasn't even a car, it was my truck. So if you didn't know, I help people buy and sell supercars. I've also personally owned 4 Ferraris. I've owned somewhere between 30 and 40 vehicles in my life, and I've also helped well over 100, probably over 200 people buy and sell Ferraris. So I've had a lot of experience dealing with a lot of different dealerships, and let me tell you, this one was really weird, unique, and stupid. It's just stupid. So you'd think that dealing with Ferraris would be the most complicated, annoying, weird dealership situations, and surprisingly enough, it usually goes pretty smoothly. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's a higher caliber thing or something. I don't know. I don't really want to make judgments, but you know, when you start dealing with 6-figure vehicles, stuff's a little different. It's just a different thing. And to be fair, I've had some unusual experiences with some of these cars. In fact, buying this Ferrari was kind of weird. The dealership I bought it from was a little sketchy, and I'm pretty sure they were using the dealership for money laundering. Yeah, I don't want to go there, but it was weird. Like, this was a weird story. But I have a thing about business. So I have this rule that I've had my entire business career, which is you never burn a bridge. There is no reason to burn bridges in business, but there's one exception. So here's the thing. When things go wrong in business, you can't just immediately get emotional and tell everyone off or say "F you" or whatever, because you just never know when those businesses might come around and you might need them again in the future. But in this particular instance, I think I'm going to make an exception to my rule, and there's a reason why, which is I would never go back to this dealership after this experience unless they paid me to go back there, because it just was so bad. I have no interest in buying more Dodge vehicles. I will have that truck for a very long time, and I would have bought it from a Dodge dealership here in the Austin area, except they just didn't have the vehicle I wanted. So what made this dealership experience so miserable? Well, let's start off with, first of all, I was looking for a very specific color combination on the truck. So I wanted the flame red with black wheels, and I could only find 3 within 500 miles of where I live. That made it kind of limited, and the other 2 that were available were much lower optioned, not really what I wanted, and they were much farther. The closest one was 150 miles away, and the next one was like 400 and something miles away. So I had very limited options on which vehicle I wanted to buy. The Ram that I bought was in San Marcos, which is only like 40 miles away. So I was like, okay, that's reasonable. So I found the truck on AutoTrader, and you know, they had one of these things where it's like a pretty good price, and you're like, wow, that's actually a really competitive price. Things look good. They even said the MSRP, and the price that they listed was $10,000 below MSRP, which on the diesel trucks was kind of a little bit unusual. Usually those trucks didn't really get discounted much, I think because they sell pretty easily. So I was a little bit like, all right, well, let's hear them out. So I give them a call, and that's where things just went poorly. All right, so I make the first phone call, and I start talking to them and ask them, hey, I want to buy this Dodge. It's a Ram. Sorry, I know there's people out there that are like, it's not a Dodge Ram, it's just a Ram. Okay, it's a Dodge Ram to me because I've been around since before they were called Ram. Same thing with Chevrolet Corvettes. It's not a Corvette, it's a Chevy Corvette. It's a Chevrolet. Whatever, anyway. It's just a bunch of marketing hoopooish whatever stuff. It's the same company, okay? Anyway, enough about that. So I call them up and say, hey, I want to buy this truck. Is it $63,000, the price you have advertised on AutoTrader? And they said, yes, it is. I said, great. I would like to buy it for that much money. And they said, sure, hold on a minute. We talked for a little bit, and they start talking about this and that and all these great things that the dealership offers. And then they come back and they say, well, actually, we can't sell it to you for $63,000. We can sell it to you for $68,000. And I said, well, why is it more expensive than what you listed? Isn't that kind of like a bait and switch thing? And they said, well, actually, we did all this extra stuff to the truck that we have to charge you for, such as adding a bed liner and tint, and we added paint protection, right, and interior protection and some other bullshit things that I'm sure they didn't actually do. I mean, yes, they did the bed liner, but all these things don't add up to $4,000+ in extra crap. We're talking maybe $2,000 at best. And either way, that's a little bit shady. And the guy quickly points out that, hey, there is a little bit of print that says that the price might not be actually what it is listed here, because of whatever extra dealership charges. Like I said, I've dealt with a lot of cars. This is the first time I've called a place and had the price immediately go up, other than taxes and stuff, right? Like there's tax and registration and all that crap, so that price always gets added on. But right off the bat, like the base price for this thing went up. And I'm like, what the hell? So we have some back and forth, and I said, I really want the truck at the price that you have it listed. Phone calls are going back and forth because I'm kind of pissed off at this point that the price isn't what they advertised it at. And so then finally, after back and forth, we came upon a negotiated agreement price. And so I said, great, I've already got the financing set up through my bank. Please send me a sales order, and so I can give that to my bank so that we can get that rolling. And they said, great, we'll give it to you in a minute. And in the meantime, they said, do you want to do a trade-in? And I said, sure, I have a Subaru, give me an offer on it. And so they said, don't worry, we will get you a great offer on the Subaru. The KBB trade-in value of this thing is like $2,500 to $3,000. I'm not expecting much. He promptly told me about all the tax benefits of doing the trade-in, which you're talking like a couple $100 because it's only worth like $2,000, $3,000. So not exactly a big motivation for me. After a little while, they finally send me the sales order and the price went up again. And they didn't tell me this. They just sent me the sales order and the price went up by thousands of dollars. And I'm like, what the hell? So I immediately call a guy and I said, why did it go up in price? And he said, well, actually, we can't sell it to you at the price that we agreed upon because that price is below what we paid for the vehicle. You guys list the vehicle for less than you paid for it, negotiate to a price that's still less than you paid for it after increasing the price way up. So we started here, we went here, we're back down to here, and now we're out here, and this is still less than what you paid for it. I'm like really pissed off, and I cursed the guy out. I was very upset. F words and other bad things were said to him. And basically I said, if you don't give me the fucking truck at the price that we agreed upon on the last phone call, I'm walking down this deal. And then I hung up. And a few minutes goes by and he calls me back and he says, tell you what, we have this special agreement where we can do these special discount coupons or something I've never heard of from the manufacturer, which allow us to sell certain vehicles below what they actually paid for it so that they don't lose money. Will this be acceptable? Mind you, the price went up $500 more than our negotiated price. And I said, fine. Get it to me in writing immediately, and I'm coming down there right now so we can get the paperwork going. In the meantime, he also responds, oh, and by the way, we have a trade-in value for your Subaru, $2,000, which was way below the trade-in value according to KBB. So I said, piss off, I will sell it outright because actually I saw an Auto Trader that they're selling my Subaru for between like $5,000 and $7,000, which I was like, really? Oh, okay, I will gladly take $5,000 for it. So I drive down to the San Marcos Dodge dealership. I can't blame my sales guy. He's not in control of the situation, and he was a reasonably nice guy. But anyway, so we start chatting. We take the truck for a test drive. It drives fine and everything. So I'm like, great, let's do the paperwork and get this over with. And so they sit me down and proceed to not do anything for over 2 hours. I sit there for 2 hours playing on my phone, answering phone calls, just waiting for them to say, hey, here's the next thing to sign. So finally, after 2 hours, at this point, I'm a little bit irritated. We go into the financing department and they pull up all the paperwork. And mind you, at this point, I'd already told them repeatedly I wanted to put $10,000 down. So they pull up the paperwork and they give it to me, and I notice it does not include any money down. And I said, I actually wanted $10,000 down. Did they tell you this? And they said no. So I have to redo all the paperwork, which takes a few more minutes. So finally they have all the paperwork and I said, great. Of that $10,000, they told me I could put $5,000 on my credit card and $5,000 as a check because I want the points. I mean, that's free money. And he says, oh, well, we can't actually do a charge for $5,000. We can only do $3,000. And I said, fine. $3,000, I'll write a $7,000 check, whatever. So I write the check for $7,000 and we sign the paperwork, making sure to, say no to all the extra crap. Oh, the only one thing I will say, along with that discount, I forgot to mention, they did throw in like some extended warranty and maintenance stuff, but you're talking like maybe $1,000 worth of stuff. So not exactly like, ooh, ah. Sign all the paperwork, go to have them charge my credit card, and right up on the wall in big print, it says, maximum credit card charge, $5,000. That guy just told me $3,000. The first guy told me $5,000. Which one is it? Is it $5,000 or $3,000? And the lady working there says, it's $5,000. I said, great. Charge $5,000 to this card. I tore up my check, wrote another check for $5,000. They charged my card for $5,000. Ta-da!
We got a winner! We got a winner!
finally, we're getting somewhere to go out and, review whatever stuff. And finally, after being at the dealership for almost 3 hours, I'm driving home in this truck, which I started calling them at like 9:30 in the morning, and now it's 4 in the afternoon. So it took me all day to buy this vehicle. And it was stressful. And it was so annoying that there's no way in hell I would ever tell anyone to go to that dealership unless they feel like getting jerked around. So why is it that seems to be the status quo? Because I actually talked to a few friends of mine who recently also bought a truck, and he said the same thing happened to him with buying an American vehicle. And I started to realize that this seems to be a thing that maybe some of the American car dealerships deal with, because this was a Chevy dealership that my buddy bought his truck from. This Dodge dealership seems to be sketch. Is this like the status quo? I think they expect people to be dumbasses. And so when you come in there and you have everything organized and you have all your ducks in a row and you don't care about getting the lowest payment, and you're actually like, how much does it actually cost? Like a lot of people are just like, I want the lowest payment possible. And they're like, cool, we'll give you 164 months at 48% interest and your payment will be $50. And people go, jackpot.
Well, this calls for a celebration. I will.
And yet, meanwhile, the bank's going, woohoo, we're rich.
I'm rich.
Versus me, I'm like, what is the price? What is the price? What is my out the door price? That's all I care about, because I can get the lowest interest rate I can at whatever extended period of time I want on the financing. So, and that was the beautiful thing about this. I love my bank, University Federal Credit Union. This is a shout out to them. They didn't pay me. This is not sponsored, but holy cow, I have financed, like 6 or 7 vehicles with them now. They have consistently been the lowest rate by far. And as soon as I call up my guy, you got a guy. I got a guy. And if you need to talk to my guy, I'll get you in touch with my guy. But I call him up, say I'm buying a truck, and he says, cool, your credit's amazing, da-da-da-da. You get 1.95 from anywhere from 0 to 84 months. I'm like, holy crap, that is like free money. Enough about that. This dealership experience sucked. This dealership experience was weird, but it didn't suck. Never had a dealership, every time we talk, the price keeps crawling up. Usually it keeps crawling down. Like each time there's a phone call, you chip away a little, right? It never goes up. That was so odd and annoying and really, really frustrating. And screw those people. I will not buy a truck from them or any vehicle from them ever again. And I know I still have like a service plan that I have to go there, so they're gonna possibly see this and be upset. But you know what? No. Here's the thing. If people run businesses in a way that is embarrassing when people talk about how they run businesses, that's on them. You've run your business poorly. When people talk about how I run my business or how I've run my teams of people, it's usually with some sense of gratitude in that I was fair and all those sorts of things. In fact, I had a lot of loyalty from my employees. Some of my employees followed me through different companies because of the way I ran my teams. So I think there's something to be said about the lack of honesty and the lack of having ethics about how you do your things. And it's not to say that like it's immoral, but it's just shitty. And so you need to have an attitude where it's not adversarial, it's how do we do mutual beneficially things together that, you win and I win. Yeah, it was, talked a lot. Okay, hold on. So I'm sure some of you have some pretty interesting horror stories about these dealerships and crazy crap. So feel free to tell your stories in the comment below. To be fair, this wasn't like they stabbed me or anything. It was just annoying and frustrating. It is actually legitimately the worst experience I've had so far, because usually it's not that big of a deal. Usually it's a little bit back and forth, whatever, you sign some paperwork and you're done. Well, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to be doing lots of car stuff. I'm still working on the 599. Don't worry, we got videos on that coming soon. We have a few more things to do on the truck, so that'll be coming up soon as well. And I got some hauling to do with the truck. Stay tuned for all that. We'll see you guys soon. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate this video. It's going to be sweet.